third characteristic of a fine father is that he's a good listener. Phil Callaway wrote a book with the title, I Used to Have Answers, Now I Have Kids, right? Yeah, man, kids can be confusing. It can be a challenge. And we've got to learn how to listen to our children. You know, when I started preaching 30 years ago, they had done a little study about dads, and they had put a microphone on kids, and they had listened and recorded the time that actual fathers spent with their children, and they found out that it wasn't really very much, especially when they compared it to the amount of time that mothers spent with children. But I'm going to tell you something. I see a new trend in this generation of millennials, right? Can we just give the millennials a big hand that are here? All right. You know what? They spend more time with their children. Children are more important to this group of individuals. And more dads are getting deeper involved with their kids. And you know, we've got to be a good listener to be a good dad. Am I right? We've got to learn how to hear. And one of the first things we've got to learn how to listen to is the Lord. Am I right? John 10:27 says, Jesus said this. He said, my sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me. Listening to God is incredibly important. As I was reflecting back on my own life as a dad this week as I prepared this message, and I got to thinking about this, my mind went back to a moment shortly after we had moved here to Houston, and we'd left Columbia where we were missionaries, and we had a dog there named Princess, and we had to leave the dog there. And I told all of my kids, I said, I'm going to go buy another dog for you guys when we get to the States. And about 3 or 4 years had passed, maybe more, maybe 5 years, and I was really content without a dog, you know, not to dig up my yard. But I was praying. I know it sounds crazy. I was praying and I was fasting and I was saying, Lord, I just want to do what you want me to do. And it just seemed like in my heart, the Lord said, go buy a dog. Never forget the look on my wife's face when I told her, I said, let's just go look at these golden retrievers. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to buy one or not. I knew I was, but I had the money in my pocket. She said, we walked away from there with Lady in the car. I said, I can't believe we did this. Yeah, I said, well, the Lord told me to do it. And, you know, for 12 years, that dog brought a lot of joy to our heart. And if dogs have a heaven, she'll be up there. Hello, come on. You know, dogs are precious, right? And so you've got to learn how to listen to God. How many of you know little things like that count? Can I give you a little something to tell about kids, especially when they're little? Listen, don't promise your kids you're going to do something. Instead, just surprise them with it. Don't tell them on Saturday we're going to go to, you know, to Fiesta, Texas or wherever. Instead, just surprise them with it. We're going to go today, because you never know when something's going to happen and you have to cancel that. Then they get disappointed. All right, that was free advice. Didn't cost you nothing. All right. And we've got to learn how to listen to our children as well. And I believe that as we learn to listen to God, we can learn to listen to our children as well. And for some children, their thoughts kind of need to be drawn out of them, like water in a well. I honestly believe that my wife has this skill. She should actually be up here teaching this better than me. She has that skill of being able to draw that out of our family. She's a great communicator. But Proverbs 20 and verse 5 says this, knowing what is right is like deep water in the heart. A wise person draws from the well within. I like that verse. Because a child's heart and his innermost thoughts are not like a spigot that you can just turn off and on. They're more like a well, and you can't really turn good conversation off and on, but rather for your children, it kind of has to kind of bubble up to hear, you know, so you can hear what they have to say. And we need to know how to listen to really hear what they're saying. And not only does a dad need to be able to draw that from down deep on the inside of him and give, you know, his kids the wisdom that he's learned in life and the lessons he's learned in life. But he also has to teach his children as well to go deep inside of their heart and to share what they're thinking. And oftentimes that's not easy. Especially when kids are in that middle school period or high school period, you know, when they understand everything about life and they know so much. You know, you can't just say, come on, we're going to sit down and talk. But what I've discovered in life is that if you'll just create an environment where people are together, where you're there together with your kids, where everything is relaxed, even where everything is fun, and especially where there's food that everyone's enjoying, it isn't very long until young people, children, teenagers, whoever it is, they start talking about their life. And that's when you need to learn how to listen. Can I encourage you to do something today? If your family's the kind of family that you always, grab your stuff, go watch TV while you're eating. Listen, if your kids are little, if your kids are at home, sit around the table. Go slow. Enjoy the meal. And then listen. And what you'll discover is that out of the deepness of their heart, they'll start sharing. And as you can really hear what they have to say. And that's true even when your kids are older as well as younger. And I just know that every son needs a dad to believe in him. Am I right? Every son needs a dad to be like a coach on the sideline saying, you can do it, you can make it, it's all right. And if they struggle, if they fall, if they mess up, then they need a dad to come alongside and say, hey, it's going to be all right. Amen. That's the difference between dads and moms, right? A little boy running on the playground, running outside, falls, skins his knee, comes crying to mama. What's mama do? Oh, that's okay, honey. Come here. We'll put some Band-Aids on it. You'll feel better. You want to know what a dad does? You'll be all right. You're not going to die from that. Come on, we'll go play. Kids need that. Come on, I'm preaching good today. I'm telling you, every son needs to be affirmed that he can make it in life. And I've discovered, I didn't raise any daughters. I've got a wonderful granddaughter that I love a lot. But every daughter needs to hear from her dad the knowledge that he thinks she's beautiful, that she's precious, that she's special. Come on, I think that's a very important part. And, not just external beauty, although that's important too, but there's always an inner beauty inside that dad needs to affirm that. And that's a beautiful thing. And you may be here this morning and all of this talk about dads. It might even kind of make your heart a little bit sad. But I'm here today to tell you that you have, maybe you didn't have a dad. There's a lot of people that never grew up with a dad. And even in our culture today, do you realize that about 60% of in our culture, the children don't live with their biological father? Or even many don't even live, about 50% don't live with any dad at all in the home. So people sometimes grow up feeling like distance from their father. Let me tell you something. There's a father in heaven that wants to be a dad. Come on. There's a father that wants to affirm you. There's a father that wants to say you can make it in life. There's a father that wants to tell every little girl, come on, every young teenager, every young adult, listen, you're beautiful like you are. You're wonderful. You're special. I love you. Come on. Can we just give God the Father a big hand today? Amen. Then number 4, the fourth characteristic of a fine father is that he is faithful.